A lot of people seem to think that you build self-esteem through convincing yourself that you love yourself and repeating positive affirmations in the mirror. But all that is a load of bollocks. The way you feel about yourself is so much more complex than that. You can't just snap your fingers and decide to like who you are. Self-imposed self-esteem doesn't exist. How do I know that? Well, it's because I experienced it firsthand. In this video, I'm going to break down the difficult journey of how I started to build self-esteem and then give you an actionable plan of how you can do that in your own life. This is me at about 12, and as I grew up throughout my teenage years, I struggled with low self-confidence. Being the kid in the wheelchair, amongst other things, made it difficult to feel good about myself, and although on the surface I may have seemed okay, I struggled to have faith in my ability in the world. But a year ago, that changed. In your school, was there ever any leadership competition amongst the students? Was there an election for head boy, head girl, prefect, whatever, anything of that kind? Because for me, there was the presidential campaign, where a student president and a presidential team is elected to then be student leaders for their last year at school. The student president was voted by staff and students, and there was an illusion that they had some kind of power. And because I had a massive ego, I wanted to apply. I had to make posters like this that went up around school, and I had to make a campaign video, so all of this was a huge leap outside of my comfort zone. But in the end, I didn't win. But I did come second. I got the second most votes out of all the students in my year, and so far over the past year I've been part of the presidential team, and it's been a good experience. But the reason I'm telling you that story is because it showed me how self-esteem is actually built. And the truth is something that no one else I see online is saying. Self-esteem is what comes if the world responds to you in a positive way, and you can't decide that on your own. It's not just how you feel about yourself, but how you and everyone else feels about you. It's a constant feedback mechanism between you and the environment that you live in. I know this because during the presidential campaign, when people told me they were going to vote for me, and when I'd walk around school seeing embarrassing photos of me up on the wall, it showed me that I had real proof in the real world that I was an appreciated individual. And that made appreciating myself a whole lot easier. So with that knowledge, let's create an actionable plan of how you can apply this into your own life. This is Abraham Maslow, an American psychologist who came up with one of the most iconic theories of all time, the hierarchy of needs. This details a progression of fundamental human needs that we all need to be psychologically stable and then to thrive in our lives. As you can see, self-esteem doesn't come until the fourth tier of the hierarchy, and for that reason we have to make sure we are hitting the previous three stages before we can think about our self-esteem. That means we have to be hitting the basics of our physiological, security and social needs. However, once that's taken care of, you can now apply the following method. But I must caveat this by saying, when I did this during the presidential election, it wasn't conscious. It's only later through self-reflection that I realized this is what works to build self-esteem. You want to try and go out in the world and act in a way that doesn't make you resent yourself. Try as hard as you can to present a version of yourself that you can be proud of. Put out a good vibe into your daily life. Be courageous, be a source of joy for the people around you. And all of this then accumulates into a positive image that you hold in the public realm, and people will begin to recognize that. And once everyone gets used to this positive version of you, then that's what they're going to expect. And when they're expecting that, then that's the image that they reflect back at you about you. That's real self-esteem. You know, life is like a mirror in a lot of ways. What you present out, what you put out, is often what reflects back at you. If you put effort into building a positive image around yourself, then you'll find in the places that you go and the people you meet, positivity is reflected back at you. And of course, it's no simple matter. Trying to be a positive version of yourself is not easy because life is bloody difficult. But when I really think deeply about how I transformed from a 12-year-old kid with pretty low self-esteem to a young man with a healthier self-image, it all came from creating a confident persona. And then over time, eventually, I became that confident persona. If you want to see more about how psychology can improve your life, you can watch this video here. Also, you can work with me. If you click the top link in the description, you can sign up to my psychotherapy mindset service. But with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching.